and welcome to another tutorial with Tea and Crochet. This one is going to be on our super chunky beanie hat. So if you have bought one of these kits from us recently and you're a little bit stuck, then this might help. So we're going to go through this pattern. So I'll have a quick start and then I'll show you how to sew it up and pop a pom-pom on it. Okay, so if you're still a bit stuck, I'd go back to my first episode where I talk about slip knots and chaining to make your foundation chains. So what we're going to do first is create our foundation chain. So we start with our slip knot. And then we are going to work however many chains, whatever size you're doing, how many chains you're doing. So we're making an adult one today. 28 chains. Okay, right, and we're going to be working into the second chain from the hook. So this is the first chain, so we're working into the second chain from the hook. We're making a half treble stitch, so we want to yarn over, insert our hook into that loop, yarn over again and pull through. We should have 3 loops on our hook and then we're going to pull them through. Stitch 1 done. And we're going to continue that all the way along. Just do a couple of rows and then we can pause the video for you to actually make your hat, and then you can come back to us while we sew it up and put our pom-pom on it. Okay, here we go, coming to the end. So although we chained 28, because we skipped the first chain, that's our turning chain, you should have 27 stitches in total. Now, to make sure you have a nice rectangle at the end of your project, it might be nice if you're learning, and I do it sometimes just to make sure I've got the right number of stitches, is to just count, make sure you've got 27 stitches all the way along. 26, 27. There we are, and that's our first row. So again, onto the next row, you're going to chain 1, turn your work, and again, working into that top V there, make your half treble stitch, and then you're going to just keep on going. You go all the way along until you have a nice big rectangle. Okay, so if you worked all the way along, you should have a nice rectangle with some straight edges. If you've counted along, it should be perfect like this. So we've done a quick chain and we've fastened off, and you've got a very long nice tail, which we are going to pop onto our very colourful darning needle. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to turn this over, so this is at my top right, and we're going to fold it in half, and now we're going to stitch it up this way. Okay, and how I do that is, if you find there should be, you can see a stitch here, there's a little V there. I just simply start by popping under there first, and that just attaches the 2 sides, and then we can get on with sewing up the stitches together. So I'm working in a bit like you did when you were crocheting. We're just working in this top loop on this side. So you see these V's here, we're just going to be working into the top part of the V. So insert there. And then this one where we started, this is our foundation chain. You should only just have 1 loop there, so that's pretty straightforward. So we just put it through. And again, and you just work all the way along till you get to the end. Okay, so I've got to the end and I've just quickly tied a quick knot at the top. I just do a double knot really. Yeah, it just means that when I pull it, it's not going to pull on this and scrunch this up. Because now what we're going to do is we're going to work round to crinch in the top of our hat. Okay, so I simply just whip stitch around. Was it whip stitch? Maybe not. Running stitch, I think, not whip stitch. Just weave my needle in and out of the top of the edge of the nice rectangle we've just made. In and out. You can see some holes at the top. I tend to go through the holes and through that end stitch there. It's just so when you pull it tight, you can gather it all in really and create a closing at the top of your hat. So that's it, in and out, in and out. Okay. Okay, and then come back to the beginning. Right, so you might find it's crunched around as you've gone around anyway. So you're simply just going to pull on that bit of string. Don't pull too hard in case your yarn shouldn't break though, it's quite chunky, but sometimes it goes. Pull nice and tough. Give it a 2 knot there. And then I normally stick my hand at this point. See, you can still see my finger through there a little bit. So what I do then is I do a couple of stitches just across that gap, just to bring it in. And again across. There we go. Just so the pom-pom can sit nicely on top of it really. And again. Let's do one more. I'll try and end up back where my give that a pull tight, and then another 2 knots. Okay, right, I tend to leave this now because that's what I tie my pom-pom to, and I just weave in the short end. Let's get rid of that. Okay, I can chop that short end. There we go. Okay, and then if you've got any extra tails where you had to join in the yarn, then I tend to poke it through to this. This is the inside of the hat here. So I tend to poke it through and then I just weave it in. I have got a little video on weaving in, but in case you haven't seen it, I'll just show you. So I just weave through the little loops in different directions. Just a little bit, and just hide that yarn, and then same with the other one. Just weave it this way, then I'm going to weave it that way. There we go. I'll give them a quick snip. Okay, let's turn that inside out. And there we go. We should have the top of the hat nicely. Okay. Right, we don't need that tail right now. Okay, fold up the brim. Give it a bit of a tug and a pull out. There we go. And there's our beanie hat. Now, we've got a lovely fluffy pom-pom to go on the top. So, I thread on both. There should be 2 strings on your pom-pom. I thread on both of them. And I simply put it through the top of that. Put it all the way through, and you can see it comes through the other side. And then I then put it back through the hat again, just moving ever so slightly out to one side. Okay. And then this is where it gets a little bit tricky. All right, try and find the base of the pom-pom, and then I'm going to try and pop my needle through. Okay, pull that tight and then pop it back through your hat again. And then I'll do it the other side. Again, you can see I can just barely see where I went that way. This time I'm going to go this way. Pop it out. And again, move the fur and see if I can get it through. out onto there. So just putting little stitches through the base of the pom-pom to the hat. There we go. As I said, it could be a little bit tricky, but just make sure it's nice and secure. And then pop through the back through the hat again. And then I think I could probably do with, I only have a bit of a wiggle, see it's wiggling that side, so I need to go through there and put a stitch through there. So there, and I'm going to go through there it is. Give it a tug. Let's come off. If it comes off my needle, just re-sew it. And back through. Okay, back to the underside. And there it is. Give it a good old tug. Make sure it's tight. And then tighten the knot with the leftover yarn that you've left on the top of your hat. Okay. There you have it. And then again, just like before, just tuck your ends in. Let's give this one a bit of snip because it's quite long. There you have. Now, if you feel like any of your fluffs got stuck, you can just go through and give it a good pull out. Pull that, give it a nice little fluffy shake. And there you are.